Welcome back. Road Safety Coordinator under the umbrella of the TTPS, Sergeant Brent Batson, joins me on the phone line this morning. Sergeant Batson, season's greetings.
Pleasant morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hope everybody's well on this Christmas Eve morning.
That's right. Season's greetings to you, the family, and all your colleagues, my friend. Great to have you on.
Sure.
You know, I was telling the team, Sergeant Batson, you know, this is Christmas time, the season of sharing, and I was sharing with them a little joke where, I don't know if you recall, about a year and a half ago, you came on the program, as always, giving your advice, your tips on safety and doing the right thing. And literally could have been 2 days after, I was there on Park Street, I took a chance, bad park, and I remember you were passing and you wind on the glass, Sergeant Batson, and you look at me and shake your head. I won't lie. I felt so terrible. I felt.
I remember, but I just pointed out the sign, you know, parking sign with your vehicle was
listen,
snugly fit just underneath it.
Listen, I felt worse than if I get my ticket about I feel better. You just pass and you shake your head, you watch me, and I look now. I wanted the ground to swallow me because I was saying to myself, oh my gosh, I disappointed myself, Sergeant Batson. I let down the whole nation here.
But again, it's how quick it happens. You know, people like take a little chance. Like a good example is in front of Source Doubles. You know, between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, and then we roll up and enforce the laws, and patrons are very upset. And again, we just there's a reason why, you know, these laws are in place. And you know, sometimes when we're out there doing our job, it's not a popular one. But our job is to enforce traffic laws for public safety and for traffic management. And, you know, I'm so glad you guys, you know, talking about road safety, especially on this time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with families who have lost loved ones in road traffic crashes.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have seen you at the Day of Remembrance, and we know and see in real time when Arrive Alive, they do their big activation, how people are impacted. And the reason I started off on that tip with taking a chance, and when you saw me in that most unfortunate moment, people tend to do a lot of that around this time. You know, everybody, because of time constraints, impatience, you want to just park your thing, run in. And sometimes that in itself can cause a major backlog where everybody at this last minute trying to get the stuff done.
Everybody, yes. Yeah, exactly. And I would think, you know, courtesy, a little cooperation, a little patience, that's all it takes. We're all going to get to where we need to go. And, you know, although this year we've seen a 12% reduction in road traffic crashes for 2025, with 106 road traffic deaths compared to 121 for the same period, you know, it's a step in the right direction, but we continue to see some dangerous and reckless behaviors on the roadways. You know, especially when it comes to like unnecessary risk-taking by motorists. I don't want overtaking on corners, overtaking long lines of traffic, speeding through red lights, and these high-risk behaviors, you know, they have tragic consequences. And unfortunately, that's what we aim to prevent.
You know, Sergeant Batson, I don't know if you could speak to hierarchy within the TTPS or even those within the transport division. I think there needs to be a major focus on the roundabouts. I think there are people who do not know how to negotiate a roundabout, and more so, those who are just very selfish. You know, and I always speak of the maritime roundabout. You could naturally see the lights by mover are on red. People trying to filter across the barrier, and there are folks who will just block the roundabout. You can't, they're not going nowhere, and the folks who are trying to filter into barrier can't go nowhere, and it is pandemonium, horn blowing. I don't want us to wait until somebody come out their car and assault somebody and somebody loses their life for that kind of disrespect.
Exactly, but hence the reason why I would say patience, courtesy, cooperation. I mean, if you know you can't proceed to the intersection, don't enter it. It doesn't make sense. And, you know, peak hours of traffic, you know, by shopping malls, it's going to be heavy congestion. So you have to have that frame of mind, knowing that that's what you're going to meet. And we're asking people, we're going to be out there, focus on your shopping, but also focus on your safety. And I want to remind persons, you know, when you're buying packages, just be careful of, you know, making multiple trips back to your car and then leaving them in the back seat. Remember, criminals are opportunistic, so where they see an easy target, you know, that's what they're going to go for. I mean, they want their Christmas too, and if you're going to provide it by being an easy target, that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, the police are going to be out there. You've seen downtown, Port of Spain, San Fernando, Arima, a lot of the city areas.
Well, let me tell you.
A heavy police presence.
On screen, there's a traffic warden. You know, we're showing a traffic warden in one of our B roads. You don't think it's time, especially with the roundabouts, we could have folks positioned there in prime time rush hour every single day. I don't know if it's a manpower issue, because I see traffic wardens in Port of Spain directing Independence Square, but I'm thinking here, Marabella roundabout, Maritime roundabout, Price Plaza, for crying out loud, Sergeant Batson. It's a shambles every single day. Westmoreland, by Westmore, people, lots of accidents take place. The West End will tell you that there's lots of accidents by the roundabout in Westmore.
And again, with two things I want to mention. One is that at Endeavour roundabout, you're saying my Price Plaza, there have been wardens deployed out there, and the wardens fall underneath the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, and I think works and infrastructure. But they've been deployed out there to assist with traffic management in a lot of those areas. And you're quite right, they have been successful in assisting. But I'm not too sure what their manpower strength is to deploy across nationally. But you are right, they do assist. And it has been working in some places. At the Westmoreland roundabout, I don't know what the volume is like to require it, but you're quite right. We have had a lot of accident reports there. Regards to persons just misusing that roundabout. I have seen the Ministry of that licensing has put out some educational videos. Perhaps it's something that we can post maybe even on CNC3's webpage, Facebook page, to boost it a little bit.
I think people genuinely don't know, Sergeant Batson, how to use the roundabout, because what we see on a regular, people take the outer lane and then try to filter back
inside, on
the inside, and to me, if you're going around to get back to, let's say, Kukurit, you're still in a lane, but you can't come on the outer lane, and people trying on the inner lane trying to filter. Listen, it's I see every single day. Your heart is skipping a beat going around about these days.
Well, it's definitely an area we can look at improving, educating drivers. But, the simple things drivers could still, even during this time, please, we're asking people, you're going to family lines, family get-togethers, and we're asking people, please remember the police out there. The police are not on holiday. They're doing their job, so DUI enforcement is going to continue. And in fact, it tends to ramp up around this time because we know people are going to be engaging in these lines and stuff like that. So
and the drinking.
Please be responsible in your consumption, Designate a driver, use a ride share, because it's not going to be worth it. $12,000, that's still a hefty fine. And next year it's going to increase, as to $24,000 for first-time offense.
And I want you to remind the callers, not the callers, the listeners and viewers this morning, as to those who might refuse, who want to play the calling lawyer and say, what, I don't take no breathalyzer. That in itself reminded me that in itself is problematic, right?
That's correct. Any persons once a constable requests a breath specimen for you or ask you to blow into a breathalyzer, you must provide that specimen. If you fail to do so, that's immediate arrest without warrant, and that's a separate offense by itself. So, but we don't want you to get in that situation. Just do the right thing and please be responsible. And wherever you can, designate a safe drive. And please, we're asking everybody, wear your seatbelts and obey speed limits. Remember, there's no rush. We want you to get home safely and enjoy a fantastic Christmas with your families.
Yeah. So the presence will be there. You can confirm this morning that you all are out and about tonight, tomorrow, straight into the long weekend.
Straight into the long weekend, and again, our DUI enforcement exercises are going to continue. We also have, as you know, downtown Port of Spain, we have the municipal has a new police post on the Brian Lara promenade, to increase policing visibility, and a lot more foot patrols happening in the city areas. Not only just to deter criminals, but also to increase persons' perception of safety. Because we want persons to spend their money, we want persons to feel safe, that they can shop safely and leave the city safely. But more importantly, on the roadways, that's where now that safety transcends into personal responsibility. And that's where we depend on the public to do the right thing.
What's your advice for the malls? I know I see every Christmas, because the car park in the mall is beyond capacity, people tend to park. I've seen it by Westmore on that particular Western Main Road. I've seen it by Trinity Mall also. People park, when I tell you, anywhere, Sergeant Batson. Is that going to be something you're looking at? Are people going to be in any problems if they just throw their car and run in the mall quick to grab an item?
Well, I'll be honest with you, a lot of our policing operations with regards to removing illegally parked vehicles tend to be limited to these cities areas such as Port of Spain, San Fernando, regards to wrecking and removal operations, and even those are done by the municipal police itself. When you spill out into the malls and those areas, as you correctly said, that selfish behavior, it now translates into the high risk, because remember, sometimes you're blocking lanes, sometimes you're opening doors into traffic that's moving at 65 kilometers right next to you. And sometimes just to pull out back into the traffic, some persons don't even check their mirrors or look to make sure there's a vehicle next to them. So, and it causes more congestion, So I always ask people, make a round, even if you have to circle a couple times. There'll always be cars that'll be leaving. Not everybody's going to stay in the mall at the same time or wants to stay in the mall for a long time. So we're appealing people, be patient, circle if you have to, and get a safe parking spot.
Sergeant Batson, thanks so much for the advice. Let's have ourselves a safe Christmas, and as always, we appreciate your counsel. And let's touch.
Well, we appreciate you always highlighting, this year road safety, Jason, and we're really looking forward to your support next year as well.
Oh, for sure, definitely, and I'll continue doing the right thing, Sergeant Batson. I can never forget that look of sheer disappointment. You watch me like, nah, boy, Jason, boy. All the best. That's right.
Be safe. All right, enjoy.
Yes, truth be told, TNT, listen, you ever feel like, I feel shame? Oh, I literally had a conversation with the man like 2 days prior. Took a little chance, just to run in. And Sergeant Batson passed, wine on his glass, and just do my like. I wasn't even asking, nah, boy. So, I myself, I try to remind myself every day to just do the right thing and to be patient. And also, to be mindful of the roundabouts. Come on, folks, let's really do better the roundabouts. Price Plaza, Maritime, Marabella roundabout, West Mall roundabout, the roundabout by Trinidad City. We're doing the most. Why? How come? We can't negotiate a roundabout anymore. So I personally will advocate and look into that going into 2026 and ask the relevant authorities to ensure there is manpower there, not obviously whole day, but rush hour, morning and afternoon. I think we need that kind of guidance, because clearly we can't do it ourselves. All right, we take the pause. We come back and do some housekeeping before the 7 a.m. news update. After 7, we're going to open up the lines for your Christmas greetings this morning. We're going to put the politics and all the heavy talk on the back burner. We're dealing strictly with Christmas greetings and best wishes for the nation. That's coming up after 7.